In order to reach the second floor of the museum, you need to finish the ghost tour and then ask Tegan about it. So Tegan shows you her super cool workplace where she's been doing work for the Accused Witches organization. Salem and the Prohibition. Now, AW was created by bootleggers during the Prohibition. They thought it meant another way, like there's another way out. Haha. But AW also stands for the Accused Witches here.
Someone's a busy bee. Old court protocols, ancestry records. Tegan is really digging deep into the witch trials.
Yeah, wow. AW note. So are you a descendant of one of the Salem witches? The descendants and relatives have an interest in discovering their past and honoring the victims. Do you have family ties? Here at the genealogy lists, we want your information. Okay, so we've got various notes here on people that are related to the Salem witches. Okay, anything else here? The Accused Witches Organization, recognizing the injustices of the past by honoring and supporting their ancestors. We fight for justice and clearing of all the family names, with special lectures. We need to prove the innocence of the wrongfully accused, fundraising for their memorial. AW Power, a movement to reclaim selected lands that were illegally lost to greed in the trials. So, the AW wants to get the Hathorne House property. They really want to get that property. And here's something that's interesting. The evil Reverend Samuel Parris, who did not apologize for his role in the Salem witch trials, well, his descendants changed their name from Parris to Perry. So does that mean May and Tegan are related to this famous witch trial man? Hi, Deirdre.
Now that I've toured this town, I can see why everyone would want to protest. Whole place seems kind of morbid, right? Anyway, can we see the judge now?
Sure, fine, we can see the judge. We'll see the judge. Okay, so. Actually, I want to talk to Tegan first. Let's talk to Tegan about some of the stuff we just saw. Hey, Tegan.
How's the investigating going? Any progress with May?
Well, obviously I haven't made any progress with her while I've been upstairs checking your notes, but, looks like we can't talk to her about the AW organization quite yet.
Talk to you later.
I'm gonna make another pumpkin. Woo!
Done. This looks great. Now to find a nice place to put it.
I like how they're both staring at me while I'm playing with pumpkins. Okay, so there are two things we need to do in the town. Number one is to do the ghost tour, and number two is to talk to the judge. So, the judge is here in the courtyard. Whoa, why are there angry protesters?
That group is really chanting up a storm. What has them so angry?
Yeah, protesters. Oh, let me put the pumpkin in place.
Yes.
Are they protesting because there aren't enough pumpkins here? Or what's going on, dude?
Can these guys get any louder? They're going to wake the dead next door.
Maybe that's a good thing. I could ask them a few questions.
Our ancestors have rights.
Excuse me, so are you the AW group?
AW? What does it stand for?
Accused witches. Hathorne House is a symbol of the state's oppression. Judge Hathorne bought it cheap after he murdered our ancestors so he could build his mansion. And now we can legally take it back.
Well, if you're doing it legally, then why the protest march?
Rumor has it, all our evidence for a claim to the estate has gone missing. Stolen right from the courthouse. And the judge himself refuses to speak to us. He hasn't even made an official statement regarding the burglary. It's an injustice!
Wow, it's kind of hard to believe that Tegan is involved with this organization. They seem kind of loud and rowdy, and Tegan doesn't seem loud or rowdy at all.
Excuse me, what exactly are you guys protesting?
Only the greatest injustice to happen in Salem since 1692. They're gonna give the house to the state.
Okay, well, that's it for the protesters. Let's go inside. Because they are shouting so loudly, I can barely hear anything. Seriously, guys, stop shouting. Sheesh. Sheesh. Okay, so the judge is over on the right. Alicia Cole is over on the left. Over here is the courtroom. Bathroom's over on the right. Evidence room on the left. So let's meet Alicia first.
Yes, can I help you?
Hi, sorry to bother you, but we were looking for Judge Danforth's office.
Just across the hall. Why? What did you two girls do?
We didn't do...
I'm kidding. Alicia Cole, Esquire.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nancy Drew, and this is Deirdre Shannon. You're a lawyer.
Salem's best. The only practicing lawyer in the historic town limits, if you could believe it. And if you girls were in any trouble, I'd have no problem representing you. You both have that innocent look. Juries love it.
So you're saying we could get away with a crime?
We?
No? Partners in crime?
Sorry to bother you, Miss Cole. We'll check in with the judge. Have a good evening.
Deirdre Shannon has an innocent look about her? Are we talking about the same Deirdre Shannon here? Well, this is the judge's room.
You'd really become my enemy if I committed a crime?
Sorry. You shouldn't joke about that.
Why? You gonna arrest me?
No, but I'd call the police to report you. I'd also recommend you a decent lawyer, because I'm an excellent witness for the prosecution.
Wow.
I'm a lawyer's daughter, Deirdre. Don't mess with me. Hello? Judge Danforth.
Yeah, hello. Ted, is that you?
Ted?
No, Your Honor. My name is Nancy Drew. I think you've spoken with my father.
Nancy Drew? Carson's daughter?
Yes, and I'm with my friend Deirdre Shannon. We're investigating the arson of the Hathorne House.
Ah, yes.
Can we come in?
Well, you see, no, I mean, I'd let you in, but I seem to have been locked in my office and I need some help getting out.
Wait, seriously? You locked yourself inside your own office? Judge.
I was hoping we could talk about the Hathorne House case.
Yes, it's a terrible tragedy for our town, but let's table that discussion for later, okay? I'd like to get out of my office first.
But, I want to talk about the Book of Apologies.
I wanted to talk to you about the Book of Apologies. You know, the book in Austria. At the Mosam Castle?
Yes, Nancy, I would love to talk about it, but I would really love if we could do it in person, face to face, as opposed to through this door.
Okay, where's the key?
Do you know where I could find a key to your office?
Yes, I believe I gave a copy of the key to Alicia Cole as backup. She's just down the hall. I hope she's still here.
She's still here. So, let's go to Alicia and get the key.
Yes, can I help you?
He said you might have a key.
Sorry, I gave him my spare. Unbelievable. Does this ever end?
Oh, well then, do you have a paperclip?
Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, what business do you two have with the judge?
We're helping the judge with a case.
Anything I can assist you with?
Thanks, but I think we got it. No need for a lawyer. At least, not yet.
Yeah, May hasn't been formally accused and arrested. They are going to arrest her soon, but she hasn't been formally accused yet. Use the paperclip on the door.
Judge Danforth? I couldn't find your key.
What? Alicia said she'd keep a copy for me.
Well, I did find a paperclip. I think I can pick your lock, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure, fine.
This gives us a puzzle.
This shouldn't be too much of a challenge.
The puzzle is the same on Master Sleuth mode and Amateur Sleuth mode. What you want to do is push up the various tumblers. And some of them, you'll notice, you can move really, really easily. No problem whatsoever. But one is hard to move because it's heavy. It barely moves. So that's the tumbler you want to move. You want to move the one that gives you the most resistance. And you want to push it up here. Just in the perfect spot where it fits perfectly in that little brown oval. So you have to do this 5 times in a row. Find the pin, which barely moves, then get it into place. Alrighty. So the solution, I believe, is 4, 3, 5, 1, and then 2. So every time I've played the game, that's been the order you need to push the pins in.
Ha! Still got it.
Efficient. How'd you learn to do that, actually?
Online video tutorial.
Someday you have to tell me about your secret life of breaking and entering, Drew. Because you're in danger of being cool. Which, honestly, I just don't like.
Someday.
That's interesting considering how Nancy just gave Deirdre a lecture on how you should never commit crimes. Committing crimes is wrong. Now stand still while I break and enter into a judge's office. There's Judge Danforth. Hey, Judge!
Ah, those protesters are out there again, stirring the pot. You know, this town used to be a quiet place, but it seems lately there's been an element that has infiltrated our community. I have no doubt one of those troublemakers locked my door and threw away the key. Now, Nancy, your father and I have discussed.
Oh, sorry. I'm not Nancy.
Of course you're not. You look nothing like Carson. Did your father ever tell you about the time we won 4th place at the Lake Winnipesaukee Regatta? You see, at the time I had 20/10 vision, so I was the navigator and...
Judge, this is Deirdre Shannon. She's working with me on the case.
Deirdre, you're the one who tried to break down my door.
Breakdown?
Your Honor, that's an exaggeration. I was knocking. Heavily.
Look, I'm really busy, dealing with this Hathorne House business. Being a judge is not as simple as, you know, investigating during your free time.
Well, we just used our free time to unlock your door. So I'm sure you'll be willing to repay us with some answers to our questions. Right?
Yes, of course. What can I help you girls with?
Well, Judge, what do you have to do with this mystery?
Can you explain to us how you're involved with the Hathorne House?
Well, yes. The house was built by Judge John Hathorne during the 1600s, and it represented the oldest surviving structure from that era. Judge Hathorne, of course, was one of the 3 judges that presided over the Salem witch trials.
Yes, and I'm sure we can read all about the home's history in Salem's museum.
More recently, Frances Tuttle, Judge Hathorne's last direct descendant, lived in a small section of the house while the rest was left to fall into considerable disrepair. She was alone, except for a part-time caregiver, Lauren Holt, who had a bedroom in the carriage house. A few months ago, Frances Tuttle passed away, which left Hathorne House without a legal heir. According to the historical statutes of Salem, after 90 days, the house reverts to public property, the deadline of which is 2 days from now, at midnight.
So there's a big legal battle over who owns this house, and the house was just set on fire. Mysterious.
I was told that the burning of Hathorne House is suspected to be a case of arson. How did the police come to that conclusion?
The investigation found paint solvent residue on burnt embers, suggesting someone deliberately used an accelerant. Thankfully, Mrs. Tuttle never had to see what became of her home.
And what evidence do you have that May Perry is the one responsible for this?
Evidence? Have you ever heard of recidivism? 3 out of 4 criminals in the United States are repeat offenders. And there's only one person in all of Salem who has a history of fire-related crime.
So, there is no evidence.
Not yet, but there will be.
You don't need evidence. She's already been convicted in the court of public opinion.
Is that what she said?
No, I'm saying it.
She has a history with this sort of thing.
What's May's motive? What does she gain by burning down the Hathorne House?
You'd have to ask her, and while you're at it, you can ask about her alibi, which she refused to give to the police. So, any other questions?
I think May is innocent, but I don't like hearing that she's been arrested for setting fires before, and she's really not telling anyone what her alibi is. That looks super suspicious when you refuse to tell the police where you were at the time of the fire. Anyway, let's change topics. Judge, why did you need the Book of Apologies?
So the Book of Apologies. Why did you really need it?
Yes, and first of all, I'm so glad you're all right. Nasty business. Had I known you were going to be put in harm's way, I would have never called Carson and asked for his help.
I've done plenty of work for my father. He trusts me. I can handle myself.
Yes, I'm sure you can.
So I've already heard some stories, but would you mind giving me your version of why the book is important?
Yes, so... Judge Sewell was rumored to keep a ledger of all the accused, intending to publish it to reconcile with their families and clear their names. But he passed away before he could do so.
Going to Austria for a rumored book seems like a heck of a long shot.
Well, I have been under some pressure from the AW group. AW as in accused witches.
The accused witches, huh?
How valid is the claim the accused witches have against the Hathorne House?
I have been working with Tegan Perry, the organizer of that group. The Book of Apologies would have presented evidence Miss Perry could use for her claim.
And without it...
Their case is incomplete. According to the statutes of Salem established in 1629, property ownership was placed under the vacuum domicilium doctrine, meaning that any unused land would be made available to any member of the public who was willing to settle on it. This comes into effect 90 days after the land is abandoned, at midnight, meaning it will happen with the Hathorne estate in 2 days.
So it sounds like the culprit stole the book in order to prevent the AW from getting control of the Hathorne House.
So, how did Frances Tuttle pass away exactly?
The woman was 88 years old. The coroner confirmed her death was of natural causes.
So they never investigated Lauren Holt.
You need the suspicion of foul play to investigate someone, young lady.
We'd like to speak with her all the same.
She still lives on the estate, although for how much longer we do not know. You can also find her in her shop, Luminous Infusions. She might be willing to talk to you.
We're gonna meet Lauren later on in the game. Let's finish about these accusations. We'll talk about these accusations. Why are you accusing May, Your Honor?
Don't you think it's dangerous throwing around May's name as a suspect before any evidence links her to the crime?
What do you mean? What are you saying?
From what you've described, there is no evidence against May. Yet you were saying that she did it. As a judge, I think you would be the first to admit that sounds prejudicial.
It is not just me, Miss Drew. There are plenty of people who believe that May is responsible for this crime. It is not prejudice when she is the only likely suspect.
Actually, that is the definition of prejudice.
I'm not going to have this debate with you. Is there anything else?
Okay, the judge doesn't want to talk anymore. Sounds like we got him really angry.
Talk to you later.
Miss Drew, before you go, there is something else I need your help with.
You're not locked out of your car, are you?
Oh, no. There was an incident here recently. Someone broke into the evidence room.
Oh. Have you called the police?
Well, no, not yet. I don't think anything was taken. Never mind. I'll call the police. Thank you for your time.
Okay, I'm officially exhausted. Let's head back to the Perry house, okay?
Interesting. I find it interesting. The judge indicates, something happened with the evidence room. We're gonna go there and check it out later on in the game. And that line Deirdre said there, saying that she's exhausted, that indicates we're done with the first day of the game. Deirdre says that after you talk to the judge and after you go on the ghost tour. So that's your cue to go back to Deirdre's car and officially bring an end to your first day of investigation.